You belong on every ground your feet grace, so don't ever feel out of place. Take up space and belong. This earth is your birthplace. Hey y'all. I know it's been a long time since I've done a review, but as y'all know, Love is Blind is back, came back on Valentine's Day, and although I still have to catch up, first I did watch the first episode and like half of the second one, so I'm going to go ahead and review the first episode. So, of course, it starts off with everybody in the pods. Everybody in the women's quarters and men's quarters, and Nick and Vanessa talking to them, and introducing them to Love is Blind. And then they open up the pods, and everybody is dating. So the first thing I noticed is Daniel and Taylor hitting it off well. He talks about his sister being blind, and he kind of compares the Love is Blind experience like his sister being blind, and basically saying that he gets to see how she feels. And I was like, no, you don't. Like, what are you talking about? You don't you're not, that's incomparable. And I think the right term is non-seeing, isn't it? I don't know. I think non-seeing and non-hearing is the right term, right? But he is comparing it to the experiment, and I was like, how could you think that these two things are the same? They're not. But at the same time, I guess I get what he was trying to say. Um Taylor is being really like fun and flirty. She seems to be fun and flirty. Um I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This season is really boring. So the stuff that I wrote down was really repetitive and really like it just wasn't like nothing really to talk about for real. But I'm gonna try to give y'all some content, okay? So then it goes to Brittany and Devin, and we see that they hit it off as well. They bond over basketball, and their love for basketball. Devin was a basketball player who ended up getting an injury, so now he's a coach. Brittany, did she say she coached? I know she said she loved basketball, but she was basically raised in a Christian household. Her mom didn't really want her to play because, she had to dress like a boy. And, I guess she was afraid that that was going to make her a lesbian. I don't know. Stupid, but that's how it be. They also bond over children and their love for children, and how, like, children love them, and they also love the kids. But I don't think neither one of them mentioned having kids. But y'all also know, because of last season, that these people do lie about having children. We saw Tyler and Ashley, okay, from last season, or not even lie. They don't tell. They're not upfront. They're not always upfront about everything in the pods. So then it goes to Virginia and Devin, and they get to know each other. Their conversation flows well as well. I kind of feel like on the first episode, you just kind of see people hitting it off. A lot of the times, you don't really see a whole lot of fumbles. Um, so yeah, everybody is really just hitting it off, like talking to different people. Virginia and Devin get to know each other, and the conversation flows well. So we see a love triangle. Like, the first love triangle we see is Brittany, Devin, and Virginia. Okay. So then it goes to Monica and Joey. They have the common interest that they have is music, and dancing, and how swing dancing specifically. How they love swing dancing. I know it was something. Swing dancing specifically, and y'all know don't nobody really do swing. Well, I ain't gonna say don't nobody really do it, but I don't be seeing nobody doing no swing dancing. So they find out they have this in common and they're really like hyped about it and geeked or whatever. It was a cute little moment. Um Joey says yeah. Joey says that his sister passed away when he was 16. He told her that he had three sisters, but one of his sisters passed away when he was 16. And I forgot what he said happened to her. I can't really remember. Or if he said it at all. Um the next thing that I noted was Dave. Now, Dave came into the pods standing out. He basically says that he works, I don't know if he is a plastic surgeon or if he just works in the field or whatever. But he was talking about how he always cared about looks and how he wanted to come to this experiment to see if he could be a different person and that he could actually fall in love with somebody without caring about how they look. And I really hate when people come on this show and say this, because usually what ends up happening is you're not able to care about more than just looks. If that person doesn't look the way that you want them to look, a lot of the times these people will lie at first. They will lie at first and say, "Oh, you're beautiful or you're a pretty person," because that's what's polite to say. But then we find out later on down the line, or like when in the confessionals when they're at the honeymoon, that they actually don't find that person physically attractive. And of course, I haven't watched most of the episodes yet, so I don't know if that's happened. But the fact that he came straight in and told us that he was somebody who cared about looks and he just wanted to see if this experiment could make him different so that he doesn't care about looks and he can fall in love blind. Not only that, he asked Lauren how old she was, and she said 30, I think. And he was like, "Oh, so that means you're no longer attractive. Um, you're no longer attractive," and something else he said to her. And I was like, "What?" Like, he was extremely rude. He just came on there really rude. And at first she was like, is this the first like guy I'm gonna have to walk out on? But she doesn't move. No way that a guy, I don't care if he was joking, I don't care if he was trying to break the ice, I don't care what he was doing, I would have walked out. You not finna say that I'm unattractive and like I'm damaged good because I'm 30. And a lot of these men be saying stuff like this, looking the way that they do, being used and dried up, erectile dysfunction, not able to perform. All of these things be wrong with them, and they have the audacity to come out of their necks talking about women being used up and not attractive no more and damaged goods because they're in their 30s. It's weird. I honestly don't even really care for people who are vain like that, but I also understand this society cares about looks, and it doesn't matter in wherever you go, even if you work 9 to 5 and stuff like that. Sometimes looks matter to them. Looks matters when it comes to like getting jobs. Sometimes they might choose you based off of your looks. I know not everybody do that, but sometimes they might. And I just kind of feel like if you're a person who cares about looks and you judge people based off of how they look and you and age, because she just told him her age and he told her that she was not attractive. And like she just kind of brushed it off. I kind of feel like when somebody approaches you like that, a lot of times when men approach a woman like that in a way, they'll try to hide these insults and stuff like that around jokes, laughter and stuff like that to make you kind of keep your guard lowered, or lower your guard so you won't think that, oh, that's how he feels, that's what it is or whatever. Like, they'll do that, but a lot of the times they will do certain things to see how you respond to it, and the way that you respond to it gives them an idea of how they can treat you. So in this situation where he like makes this joke and she brushes it off, she acknowledges that something was wrong with what he said, but instead of getting up and leaving, she stayed there. So this is already showing him, oh, I can throw jabs at her and stuff, and she'll take it as long as I laugh when I do it. As long as I say it's a joke, she'll take it. And I know you shouldn't have to think strategically like that when you're dating somebody, but unfortunately, that's how it is. A lot of times, people will do things to you to see how you will respond to them so they can gauge how badly they could treat you or how good they gotta treat you. They try to gauge where your standards are, whether your standards are low or if they're high. And a lot of the times you be giving them that data to so show them, I can just do anything to this person and they're gonna accept it. That's why I'm calling it out right then. I'm calling it out and I'm gonna stand on what I said. I would have walked out and I would have kept it moving. He also tells her that he's shallow, but he doesn't want to be anymore. And even him saying this, I know a lot of y'all are gonna be like, well, at least he said he doesn't want to be no more. He came here to try and learn not to be this. But the problem with that is you changing as a person is not somebody else's problem. It's not somebody else's burden. It's not somebody else's task. You don't get to come into somebody's life and tell them, hey, I have an issue, but I want to see if I can work this issue out. Will you allow me to see if I can work this issue out with you? No, that's not her problem. She shouldn't accept him coming and being like, well, I'm a shallow person, but I came here to see if I can be a better person. And I feel like a lot of times women will hear men say stuff like this. They'll admit their their issues, their flaws, and you will think to yourself, well, at least he admitted it, at least he's honest. Most men are not honest about it, and you will allow them to use you, to experiment with you to see if they can be a better person. A lot of times that's not it, just trying to lower your guard and make you feel like you got a project now, because women love a project. Now you got a project, you got somebody to work on, you got somebody to shape and mold into this person that they told you that they want to be. Now that burden for them to change is placed on you. You've accepted the burden of this person wanting to be better. When we want to be better, we stay by ourselves. We stay single and we work on ourselves. Why can't y'all do that as men? Why can't y'all be single and work on yourselves? Why do y'all always feel like y'all got to be in a relationship to change yourself? Come into relationships telling somebody your flaws and basically being like, "Hey, I'm a messed up person. Can I improve myself with on you?" No. Cause what am I gonna have to go through for you to become a better person? Absolutely not. Now, granted, I know that in relationships we are supposed to help each other learn and grow, but not to the extent where I'm helping you change your whole personality and your perspective and things like that. In relationships, we're just supposed to polish each other, not break each other down to build each other up, or um we are supposed to come into the relationship healed and ready to learn and grow some more, not come into the relationship broken and expect the person that you're with to help you become a better person, taking them through things that they shouldn't have to go through in order to make you a better person. That's what I mean when I say that. Of course, we're supposed to learn from each other in relationships, but we're not supposed to be saviors and healers to that extent for each other. But anyways, He also opens up he also tells her that he likes her voice, so this is still him focusing on physical things, because even though he can't see her, a voice is something physical for you to be attracted to. So this is still him focusing on physical things. He also opens up about his mom passing and like what type of woman she was. I think he also tells Molly the same thing. Like he's telling both of them about this, because you know how they switch back and forth. He opens up about his mom passing. He tells Molly that he really likes her in their day. He tells her that, you know, she was easy to talk to and he really likes her or whatever on the first date. So then it goes to Madison and Alex. They get deep about their childhood. Madison talks about how she grew up around drug abuse, that her mom and dad were both addicts. Her dad left. Um and so basically they were left with their mom, who was struggling on drugs her whole life. Like she would, you know, do what addicts do and use drugs, and then for a period they try to get clean and then they go back to using drugs. And she was saying how she doesn't have a great relationship with her mom. um Alex talks about being bullied and failing high school and getting kicked out of his house because he failed. And it's really messed up for a kid to get bullied at school and then to not perform well in school because of it. And then the solution to that problem is to kick them out. That's weird. He was saying how his parents were really strict and they held academics in a high regard, and if you weren't doing good academically, you they just didn't want you to be a part of the family, which is crazy to me. It's a kid. Like, that's a kid. There should be no conditions for you to take care of your kid. Like, it's weird, but some people go through that or whatever. So it goes to Madison and Mason bonding over art and cinematography. He talks about finding his love for cinematography through skateboarding and having this friend who used to like record like them from different angles and stuff like that, and they would do that for each other, and he ended up loving filming. So that's something that he went to. um they also both talk about their love for the Green Bay Packers. um Oh yeah, Madison tells Mason that she feels like an orphan because she doesn't really have her family. And Mason extends his family to her, and I thought that was really sweet. Him telling her like, well, you know, you all you him giving her access to his family after saying she felt like an orphan. I thought that was really, really sweet. I do that a lot with my mom, like with my friends and stuff. I always extend her to them. Like if you ever want that, like that mother figure, you want to have a conversation with her, I extend her to them. And sometimes like I give them her number so like they can build their own relationships with her. So I thought it was really sweet that he did that. It, at least so far, shows that he seems to be a good person. Okay, because you know these people can flip real quick. So Mason goes on a date with Meg and they talk about just random things. Like they were all over the place with their topics. She says her parents she talks about how her parents are like religious and that her parents tell her that they're sad because she's going to hell because she's not religious or whatever. And I don't know if I would have shared that. I'm sorry. I don't know if I would have shared that with somebody on a date, but sis said she said she was being honest, so period. So it goes to Molly and Dave talking about sex. They're talking about sex and like kind of not necessarily being like up front, like in your face about what they're talking about, but like they're like beating around the bush, but they're also like on the same wavelength, talking about, being experimental and liking to experiment and try different things and stuff like that. Um, and then Dave goes on a date with Lauren. I wrote down that I feel like Lauren is too nice for Dave. I feel like Dave comes off as rude and he says a lot of things and she just lets them like fly. She just lets whatever he says just roll off of her and she keeps it moving. And I feel like that's dangerous. That's dangerous to do. And I was going to say on this show, but I think period. That's dangerous to do, period. To just let somebody keep getting away with saying certain things and you not checking it or you not expressing that you don't like it. It's dangerous. But a lot of times that's what men like. They like for a woman to just allow them to be disrespectful and be rude. Um Daniel and Taylor strengthened their bond from before. They were the two that had the conversation about uh Daniel is the one with the non-seeing sister and who compared the experience to his sister, which I said it wasn't, but the two of them get deeper. I found that a lot of them were like getting deep really early on this episode, and I know that of course they edit a lot of things out and we only see what they show us in like these episodes, but they got deep really quick, and I think that happens a lot anyway because of how the experiment is um set up. So it's kind of hard to find a thin line between trauma bonding and just getting to know each other. I think that's also another thing that Love is Blind that is like flawed about an experiment like Love is Blind. People, since the only thing you have to focus on is uh getting to know each other, people tend to go deeper because like you don't have anything distracting you, you don't have looks and stuff like that distracting you don't have things keeping you on the surface, so you're spending a lot of this time talking to each other, so it forces you to go deep quickly, and I feel like that can be dangerous as well because you're learning a lot, you're telling a person a lot about yourself before before uh really knowing who they are. A lot of times people will collect your information and they will use it against you. So you got to be careful about what you tell people within like the first couple of interactions with them. But I feel like on this show, they have to do that because that's all they got. And I think that can be dangerous. But anyway, the show ends with the girls talking about their connections and it seems like they're excited about this experiment or whatever. Like I said, this season is kind of boring, so these reviews are not going to be long. I'm sorry. There was really nothing that was like exciting about that first episode. It was kind of boring, but I'm going to continue to do the reviews and hopefully things will get more interesting as they get out of the pods and they start, doing the experiment on the honeymoon and then in real life. But let me know what y'all think about this season of Love is Blind. Are y'all entertained? Do y'all think it's boring? How do y'all feel about the people that they chose? Do y'all feel like they're interesting or what? Also, do you have a favorite couple yet? If so, why? But um let me know what y'all think about my review, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye! Before you go, check out my website at srgrahamwrites.org and subscribe to my mailing list to get exclusive updates on works in progress, other news, and blog posts. Thank you.